Hello, everyone. So I am Justin Taruska from Lithuanian Sales Association, and we have here guests from Sweden. So I would like to ask you to present yourself. Who are you and what are you doing?
My name is Patrik Nordkvist and I come from Sweden. I work in a company called the Sales Director, if you direct translate it, försäljningschefen in Swedish. And we help clients grow their business and get more predictive sales. Yeah.
Good. I would like to start from the beginning. We have sales people.
Yeah.
We have sales manager or head of sales.
Yeah.
So most of sales guys and women would like to be like head of sales,
Yeah.
sales managers. But not always good salesmen became good sales managers.
Correctly. First, I want to challenge that thing. Why should everybody become a sales manager or head of sales? I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to make a career, but I think you can also challenge, should I be a key account manager? Should I be a specialist? Because a lot of key account managers, for example, and other people within specialized sales make more money and have easier life than head of sales. So that's the first thing I would like to say, just to challenge a bit.
Yeah, so if you are a great sales guy, and you like to communicate with the customers and etc., when you became sales manager or director, mostly you do more office work, more Excel files, more
Absolutely.
talking with your team and etc. And also what you said regarding bonuses.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't like this office job, so you can go back.
Yeah, you can continue to be a salesperson. I will not. I see that. I think it's really good just to change that. Of course, you're allowed to be heads of sales, and there are head of sales that are out working within the sales. And I think we see that trend too. That sales groups are becoming smaller and smaller and more specialized. So everybody needs to work with sales. But as you said, some people want to do that, and there are a lot of similarities between sales and leadership, I would say. Because especially if you have sold on a bit of higher level, I had a talk recently here on the stage where I talked to selling bigger deals. And if you're selling bigger deals, you need to lead the client. You need to act as a manager of the client. You can't just call them and say, hi, do you want something? And then try to get them to close the deal. You need to work overall. You need to build relationships. You need to find value. And that's quite similar what the sales manager need to do. You need to take care of your team, help them evolve, and try to make them as best as they could. So that I think is important. Yeah.
And now moving a little bit up to the head of sales.
Yeah.
When I have conversation with different head of sales, I always asking, how it's your feeling when your sales guys, the best sales guys, could earn more. So could you express this? Because why I'm asking, in Lithuania, everyone likes to talk about money, bonuses, and etc. But also there are some mindset that if you are already director or head of sales, so you have to earn even more. But in sales, in good sales teams, sometimes it's opposite. And in the best sales guys will earn more. So what is your reflection here?
I was lucky. I had my first CEO at my first work. He has this saying that the best sales guy or girl should earn more money than the CEO because then the company is going good. So they should earn money if you have a bonus system. So that's important, I would say. So you need to be aware of that maybe one person should earn more than a lot of people in management, because they can also, in Sweden, we make a sales barometer. We test people's salary and ask them. And when it's bad times, you can lose a lot of money if you have a lot of high commissions. Most likely the head of sales and CEO have a fixed salary, so they won't go down in the same way. So I don't have any problem with that, and I think the best salespersons should be able to earn more. And of course, the sales manager and head of sales should also have some bonuses.
Great. So I have the same attitude.
Yeah, good.
And now moving to your career, when you became CEO of the company. Normally, when I'm checking Fortune 500 companies, like a big part of CEOs are from either CFO position going to CEO, from CTO, or from some lawyers with a law background. So what was your story moving to the CEO?
Yeah, my personal story was that I said I wanted to be a CEO, and I got advice that I often share with other people: start thinking like the CEO, because too many head of sales just focusing on sales, but sales are dependent on delivery. If you don't get the good delivery, you won't be able to sell more to the clients. They are reliable on market, and bad head of sales just complain about other people, saying they don't support them, and therefore they can't sell. A good head of sales will start not managing the other, because they don't have the mandate for that, but start thinking about how could we work together. And I think that's a good way of becoming CEO, to start thinking about the problem the CEO had. I personally got my first COO job as a sales manager because I come to a company where they wanted to grow.
All right.
And the most important thing was to get a CEO that could growth and could sales and could business. I don't know how it is in the Baltics. I know a bit about the Nordics, but especially Swedish, and we see a tendency that more and more business people become CEOs, because sales are more and more important, especially in these economic times. People tend to, as you said, have CFOs and CIOs like CEOs. They don't succeed as well, so you need to have people that understand the business. I have even had training with board of directors, and training them understanding their business, because they can't see the signals on how sales are going. So I think that's really key.
And what kind of pros and cons you see that if there is CEO, former head of sales?
I see if you have a huge company where, for example, if you work for one of those, as you said, Fortune 500 company, often these people aren't selling at the high end. You have a delivery problem, you have developing, the sales are so far away from. So if you want, as a head of sales or salesperson, to become a CEO, I would recommend you to go into a smaller company or mid-sized company, business to business, where often the CEO is out not selling, but doing business, meeting clients, talk to the people. You know what I mean? If you're head of a really big company, it's hard to become the CEO, at least to start with. So if you really would like to be CEO, focusing on a smaller to mid-sized company where sales is important and you can make a change. So your business agenda and your knowledge of business will help the company grow. And that will give you the next CEO job for a bigger company.
And when you became CEO, so it means that you needed to hire another head of sales.
For the first year, I didn't have time, money or time to do that, so I was both in smaller company.
I know this feeling.
You know this feeling. I was marketing, sales, and CEO. But as you said, I also needed to do other people. I was really good at getting my salespeople also to lead themselves in a better way. So I really needed to work with a team because I had so many roles. And then we grew quite fast because we were able to sell. So in a couple of years, we could hire more managers. But also, since at the company I was, it was really important for me to be out with the client. So I really kept the sales manager role for a while, because it was important for me to be out, showing my business card, the right title, closing the big deals, not doing day-to-day sales work, but helping with the closings. So I don't think it's a problem that you have the both roles for a while.
But afterwards, you already hired.
Yes,
someone.
Afterwards we needed to hire someone to take that role.
I'm trying to imagine your hiring process.
Yeah.
Because you know everything about sales. You know everything about your team.
Yeah.
And then you are hiring head of sales.
Yeah.
So how does this look like? Or how did it look for you?
First thing, I think you need to be ready. I was ready because I was starting to get a bit bored of responsible for everything. So I think that's important. If someone pushes you to hire someone, if you really don't want to, then it becomes a problem. And I think it's the same as you leave from salesperson to become head of sales. You need to take a step back. You need to understand that people will not do everything the way you did. I also hired a person that was totally different from me. that
right.
saw things in totally different way. So we rather to be a compliment. That was her for the speak. She had totally other ideas, but we could talk about. So I got my agenda with her,
Right.
and then she could get both our agenda out to the salespeople. And then, of course, you need to have strong people that can push you away. When I tried, we made a rule. I wasn't allowed to speak directly to the salespeople without her being present or knowing that I should speak to them. So I don't just interfere in everything. And that, I think, was a good rule. So people stopped coming to me and instead coming to her.
When I remember myself when I was saying to my salespeople, so was saying that, guys, now I am like CEO.
Yeah.
So it's very good for you that CEO understand about sales a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and when there is a head of sales,
Yeah.
I think that it's also like a good opportunity that that CEO has the sales capabilities
Yeah.
and also head of sales. So it's easy and faster communication than telling to your CEO about how the sales process is doing, or in opposite, when head of sales is very powerful, CEO nothing or not so much understands about sales processes, etc.
Absolutely. And I think one advantage is that I was CEO from sales. I also tried to implement that everybody needed to understand the client. This was a SaaS company. We developed a software product, and my development team, I forced them to be out one day working with the client. Of course, didn't need to sell, but they was out working with the client so they can see how we use the system. Because everybody need to be customer centric, I think, even if you're not selling. And the same with our customer success department. They need to be out and meeting the client. So I think that's one of the advantages also to have someone from the business side being CEO for a company. So that's why I think it's important. And again, as you said, board needed to understand. You need to spread the word everywhere.
So very good that you touched board.
Yeah.
One of my questions are regarding the board.
Yeah.
How this communication with board is going. I mean that there are different type of people
Yeah.
Who have this position of the board and different understanding. One is from financial, etc. So it's like going forward and backward because they are giving you some knowledge, and you also you have to coach them as well.
Good word. I think you're spot on there. I usually say you need to train your manager or your board, because that's the same when I was a sales director and had a CEO that really couldn't sales. I needed to train him in understanding sales. So when I had a board, I needed to train them in understanding both our business, of course, not just the sales, but also the business. And of course, be humble and be trained by them in specific areas where I didn't have my strong points. For example, I wasn't that into how you develop a product. I understood it overall, but I needed to be trained and get more deals there. So I think that's important. And that's the same if you have the head of sales, the CEO, the salesperson, and the head of sales. You need to train and coach each other. Yeah. The same as with a client. As I spoke on the stage, if you have a big client where you work long term, you need to train and help and challenge each other to grow. If you just, of course, have short sales, you don't do that. But in long-term sales, that's important.
And my last question is regarding metrics.
This,
especially when you are CEO, you know many metrics. I mean, and the main metrics are sales, volume, gross profit, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But to understand the process or to understand the feeling what's happening, you need intermediate metrics.
Yes.
So maybe few of them which are important for CEO of the company, just to have the feeling. Not only when you are already seeing that sales are going down or up, but just to have in advance to feel that what will happen.
I think it's called lagging metrics and predictable metrics.
Yeah, predictable.
Yeah, lagging is when you look at what have happened, and it's too late. Even if I get the results of April tomorrow, I can't do anything about April. I need to look how it's looking in the future. I would say that you should have some metrics all over your sales process. Activity in the beginning of the sales process, either meetings, incoming leads, whatever happens first. That's the first indicator. And if you know how long your sales process is, if you see that our meetings are going down and we have a 6-month sales process, then you can predict that sales will go down in 6 months. So that's why I should have at least one metric to start with. Activity is one good signage of what happened.
Top of the funnel, middle
Top of the funnel, exactly. Then you should have something in the middle of the funnel. How many are converting from first meetings or second meetings to real work, deals that you're working with, for example. And then something that you also look at conversions. How well are you winning the deals? If you're a big company with big resources, you can measure so many things. But often it's enough with those 3. What's happening in the top funnel, activity, what to start with, middle funnel, and end funnel. It's better to know these, follow them, not daily maybe, but at least weekly, and see the trends instead of having 15, 20 KPIs that you never look at and act on. And the important thing I would say is to do. When you see something happening, how do we act on it? Yeah. I hope that was an answer to your question. Yeah.
Very great.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank you for this interview and also coming to Lithuania, and hope we will see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Nice being here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.